I'm telling you this. The last thing a man in polygyny needs to do is hear complaint upon complaint upon complaint upon complaint upon complaint. Well, this ain't right. That ain't right. Okay, if it ain't right, help me come up with a solution then. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, in this video, y'all get ready, buckle in. It won't be a long ride, but it'll be a good one. This video, I'm going to talk about the sexy, the sexless, and the battle of the sexes in this video. Now, what does that mean? That's saying a lot. That's the 3 S's. And you guys know I've talked about intimacy and physical relationships, marital relationships in our videos. OPR has tackled the topic of intimacy and the sexes and sexy. Now, sexy, people think, especially in the West, sexy means, okay, you barely have anything on. You know, you're just out there, skin showing, everything's just blazing. Now, sexy to me is attitude, is confidence, is good character, good treatment, good vibes, living with someone in kindness, being helpful. There's so many different things. One thing about me being an ENFP is this. And if you guys aren't familiar with the 16 personality types, why I keep scratching my head, y'all, itch. Make sure you go take the test and find out what your personality type is. Now, I'm gonna get back over to sexy in a minute, but let me break this down and why this is important very quickly. Learning what your personality type says a lot about what you do and why you do the things that you do. And it also helps the people that love you understand why you do the things that you do and have the behaviors that you have. That is within the realm, of course, for me, I'm a practicing Muslim. I don't step outside of what I'm supposed to practice in Islam. Now, these questions you're answering yourself. This is not zodiac signs. This is not a crystal ball. That's not even an 8 ball. This is you're answering your own questions for yourself. So I'm an extrovert, intuitive, feeling, perceiving personality type, which means I kind of say what I need to say. I love people. I love encouraging others. I like to be the champion for others. And with that, being that way, I can see someone, if they're saying, oh, Coach Fatimah, this is my weakness. I see it as a strength, you know? So if they say, well, I talk a lot, you can talk a lot. You just got to know when to talk at the appropriate times. That's not necessarily ugly. That's not necessarily a weakness, because maybe you might be a good speaker one day. I typically go about my day, and I don't always act right. So majority of the time, I like to see the glass is half full and not half empty. So I like to practice a lot of optimism. I like to make people laugh, and I like to be around people to a certain degree. And then I turn into my introvert self. So I have the privilege of understanding both personalities types, the introvert, the extrovert, because I sit in the middle path of them both. Now, let's get back over to sexy.
We'd like to interrupt this video to let you guys know to make sure you are registered for the Women's Polygyny Masterclass.
Yeah.
Yes, it's our 4-part Polygyny Masterclass with your coaches, Coach Nyla
and Coach Fatimah.
And we are going to talk about different things in preparing and thriving and growing in polygyny.
Yeah, and your co-wife connection. Everybody asks us, so we're going to go there. We're going to talk about all those things. We really hope you guys join us.
So make sure you click the link in the description and don't forget to register. We'll see you soon. I'll let you get back to the video.
So, sexy is a confidence. It's a state of mind. We're in control of our own happiness because remember, we go in and out of happiness all the time. And the battle of the sexes is last. Now, the sexless comes in when you're not operating within that good-natured you, the best you can be. Then women will come into my DMs or they'll email and say, well, you know what? My husband's not physical with me. I don't know what his problem. I don't know what his problem is. And we like to run the gamut of what it could be without accusing the brother of having some type of dysfunction, or he's not having a good attitude, or he's just abusive, or whatever the case may be. And one of my questions is it your mouth? Is it your mouth? Or you have a venomous mouth? Do you have a smart mouth? Do you have a slick mouth? Do you talk back? Talk back meaning he could say, for example, let's say the trigger could be polygyny. So he says, well, I have to leave a little earlier tonight because I'm making up time, or because there's an upcoming trip, or because someone is ill. And then he gets met with, well, I don't know why you have to leave so early. You didn't leave early last night. You didn't do that for me when I was sick. There's levels to this. If somebody is very ill, sprawl out on the floor, and you just had to take your inhaler, he has to decide what the magnitude of illness is and what that means for him and what he must do. So if he's getting met with, well, I don't get why, and you better, and I don't understand, and she make me sick and all this stuff, and then you think he's going to climb on you or be attracted to you or want to be in the room with you or even in the same house with you, then you are delusional, because that's not how it works. Because if the table was turned, and we're going to get into it, if the table was turned and he acted like that, you wouldn't want to be around him. But oh, he's supposed to want to embrace you and be running and take your abuse. And then have sex with you, or intimacy, hold your hand, because intimacy is not just sex. That's not how this works. So the men can work with inside of our abuse, but we better not work with inside of theirs, if that's what you want to call it. See, the double standard can come in when we want it to, when it applies, or when it makes us feel better, or makes us feel empowered. And I'm talking to whoever this applies to. It doesn't apply to everyone that's watching this, because everyone doesn't have a problem with their mouth. Some people have self-control, self-awareness. They're aware of their environment. I watch everything. I watch everything that goes on around me, because that P is real, that perceiving part, that feeling part. But then you can watch all you want, but then don't make everyone enter into your judgment on how you judge a thing. So I'm very watchful. I'm a people watcher. Not in a weird way, but a people watcher. ENFPs typically are people watchers because they want to know where they can be of service. But where you got to be careful is making sure that you're not switching that into, I'm going to watch people so that I can judge them. I'm going to watch people so that I can use it against them later. You have to be so careful. That's where you practice self-awareness. Now, we're going to move on from that. So be mindful of your words is what I'm saying, so that you don't become of the sexless, and have the hard conversation. Because sometimes the brothers don't know how to approach us. If we're having a bad day, if we need to say something to them and we've not said it, what are they supposed to do with it? They can't do nothing with that if we're not saying what's going on. And then they'll go ask us, "What, are you okay? Is something going on? Can I help? Do you need anything?" No, nothing. I'm fine. What are they supposed to do with it? just keep pressing you. Some people are not going to keep pressing you. They're going to ask you one time and they're going to leave the chat because you're grown. You should be able to use your words. Now, if you can't, tell them, I don't know what to say yet, but something is bothering me. But I don't know how to express it to you yet. And when I find out, you'll be the first one to know. So he's not hanging there trying to figure it all out. That matters to the sex of the relationship or the sex that you're not having. That matters. So let's act like it matters. This ain't high school. We don't need to play hard to get with our husbands. We don't need to play hard to get with our husbands. They're our husbands for a reason. They asked us for a reason. They saw some value, right? We got to see it too. We got to see it too. And we just got to keep up the maintenance. I don't think I've ever, for example, I don't think I've ever been given a gift from anyone in my family that has ever loved me and not treated it with value. That it is. I don't care if it was a pen. My co-wife would give me so many pens. I got all of them. I have all of them. She's given me jewelry. She's given me stuff to put in my hair. She's given me things. Her husband has given us both things. My children have given us both things. I have all that stuff. And a lot of the things have traveled the world with me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Any other way. Okay? So let's get on over here to the battle of the sexes. The battle of the sexes, and shout out to my co-wife and our awesome husband, Coach Nazir. Now, let's get into the battle of the sexes. I brought him up, so let's get into it. We got to understand something as wives. Our lives are not our husbands. They live a different life. They're going about a different path. And I'm going to tell you the magnitude of the path that they are on. I did not sign up for polygyny. I'm a poly marriage coach, marriage poly coach, whatever way you want to put it. Relationship coach. Absolutely. Never thought I'd be. I didn't think I'd never be in polygyny. I just was a hopeful wife. I'm like, well, he can, but you know, I hope he doesn't. But I didn't know what I needed when I needed it. And I didn't know I'd benefit from him being in polygyny. And Allah made his heart the way that it is now. And that heart is big. It has a lot of space. And we all fit within it. And I'm so grateful. But that don't mean I signed up for it. But the Creator knew I'd always be where I am. So I'm gonna tell you what changed my heart outside of witnessing my husband do the work that he needed to do to be in polygyny. I don't care if he made mistakes. I don't care if he learned. I don't care if he studied. I don't care if he woke up every morning and was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take care of all these people. I don't care if I saw him in the middle of the night praying all day long, all night long, sleep, get up, pray some more. That made me love him more. That made me want him to win more. But I'll tell you what happened to me personally. I sat one day and you keep going, I don't believe this. I don't believe it. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And then you go, no, I believe this. This has happened. You want to know why? Because this is his test, not just mine. It is the test of my co-wife. It is the test of our husband. It's the test of mine as well. And I don't get to decide what tests I get to have. I don't get to decide what tests he gets to have. I don't get to decide what tests she gets to have. Because see, we all sitting in somebody else's decision, a test, our lives, what we do, what we don't do. So then instead of making a list of consequences, like all these consequences, oh, he got married, all this bad stuff gonna happen, it's gotta happen because he married again. No, I started understanding that his tests were not my own. They were customized to his life. And maybe that test that I was so worried about, being polygyny, was part of mine, it's part of his, it's part of hers, it's part of our children, it's part of our family. I said, we got our own individual tests in front of us. They look different. The responsibility within it is different. But we can get the same grade though. See, that it's that part. I can get an A. I ain't never took a test and prepared for it and failed it. Never. Never. So I don't get to say, oh, you know what? He should do polygyny like I do it. This is how I think it should look. This is exactly what I want him to do. Period. That's it. That's not how that works. And that's good. That's good. Because see, I would never be ready for the responsibility that he has. Now, Allah forbid, something happened to him. I'll carry on with my co-wife. We decided, look, we family forever. I don't, I care if a divorce happened, but if anyone had to get divorced, if they had to make that ultimate decision, my kids have still got brothers and a bonus sister, and my bonus sister has, bonus son has siblings, bonus siblings. That doesn't get erased because a marriage didn't work. It doesn't get erased because someone passed away. We family, right? So the battle of the sexes is when the women and the men think they are each other and think they have the same responsibilities. We have the same basic responsibilities and human rights towards one another. However, the men are not the women and the women are not the men. So see, I'm going to stay in my lane, like I always say, because I got my traffic is here, right? But I don't take the vehicle I have and throw it in the oncoming and then go, oh, I got hit. Yeah, you got hit, but you decided to veer over there. You got to be smart about it. Not emotionless, just smarter and less reactive and more responsive about the emotions you're experiencing in polygyny. And know that your husband's life is not your own. And his responsibility to polygyny is much different than your own. And it is okay. He's got to do what he's got to do to be successful and for the greater good of the entire family. And the last thing, I'm telling you this, the last thing a man in polygyny needs to do is here complaint upon complaint upon complaint upon complaint upon complaint. Well, this ain't right. That ain't right. Okay, if it ain't right, help me come up with a solution then. And then I have to look at the solution based off all the information that I have for everyone, for every child, for every wife, for every bill, for every whatever, and then see if that will work. He's got to measure it. He's got to decide. You don't get to control. You don't get to run. It's a grown man. See, kings move different than clowns do. They just do. Queens move different than clowns do. They're queens. So you can't say, well, I got this king, but I'm going to clown him and then create a war, a battle of the sexes. I'm not about to have a battle of the sexes with Coach Nazir. Child, he grown. And as long as he's got this really strong relationship with his creator, with Allah, with his Lord, I trust him. I trust him because I've seen it. I've seen the relationship. And he will be the first one to get on camera and be like, whew, nerves. And if my co-wife was in this video, she'd be laughing with me, because we're people. And like I said, I've not acted right all the time, but then I'll go, wait a minute, hold on. As an ENFP, we don't like making a lot of mistakes where the matters of the heart are concerned. We don't like doing that. We don't like hurting people, and we love them. And then if we go, doggone it, I couldn't catch it before it came up out of my mouth. We hate it. We despise it because our MO is to laugh and love and provide people with light and energy when they don't, when they can't come up with it themselves. We just like, look, no, we're not having a bad day. You've seen me clown on videos with my co-wife because instead of bringing out the worst in her, I'd rather bring out the best. Or if we're having a rough day and I'm like, ooh, we got to film. We'd be like, look, we're going to film and we're going to have a good time. We do that. But I want to be the source of some sunshine in polygyny. I don't want to be the one that's bringing up the dark cloud and, oh, Lord, here she come, here she go. I don't want to be that wife. I don't want to do that. And my co-wife doesn't want to do that either. Right? I used to say in my videos, I'm like, I could be Tupac. What does that mean? And I explained it, but for those of you that are new, I used to say that because people would say, well, he had good one minute and the next minute, I don't know, but he was passionate and he loved the people. You don't know who it is, y'all, Google it, Google him. I don't know how you could not, but that's okay. And I said, he's a poet, an actor, a producer, a rapper, an activist, so many different hats. And I admired that. I'm like, I love that. Multifaceted personality type. But when he was good, he was good. When he was bad, he was bad, But I liked the compassion that he had. And that Dear Mama song took me out. I mean, so it was so many layers to him. And I'm like, there's a lot of layers to me. I ain't about nobody's thug life at all. Just don't touch me. It's one of those. Don't touch me. Don't say nothing crazy to me. I don't want to have to get anybody together, but I'm not a street dude. I don't know that lifestyle. I've never been. I don't get it. I've seen it, but I've never been a part of that culture. But when I'm with my family, I want to provide light. And some days I don't feel good. I don't feel like doing it. I'm more of an introvert that day than an extrovert. And they understand. So I don't purposely get up, especially as an initial wife, with this privilege that I must be bowed down to or served or everybody listen to me or I got a God complex. No, none of that. None of that. None of that. Right? So don't create a battle of the sexes within your marriage. Don't create a battle of the sexes. Don't be a part of that world, especially when you're married and in polygyny. It doesn't help. It just doesn't. It's going to create more distance, more of a wedge. When your husband's sitting up there thinking he got a bad fight with you or, compete with you for leadership, dog. I mean, he at home. So just remember that. Make sure you guys, I'm in this video right here, but make sure you guys are commenting, liking, and subscribing, and share this video because sharing is caring. Hit that notification bell. I'm going to leave you guys with a little GLC. Make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Coach Fatimah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias at Outstanding Personal Relationships on YouTube and Facebook, and on IG at Outstanding Relationships, and also Clubhouse under our names.
And make sure you go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and sign up for our email list. And there you will get updates on our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored.
Absolutely. And last but not least, when it comes to coaching or counseling, if you want to work with us one-on-one or in group settings, make sure you're on that website and reach out to us because we do have very limited spots and we usually have a wait list. So with that being said, GLC.
Make sure you are growing intentionally,
loving fearlessly,
and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.